Welcome to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. We are here every Saturday to highlight local entrepreneurs and small business owners to learn how they succeed to build their businesses from the ground up, what were their challenges, and what are their victories. And the purpose of the show is to put a voice to local business owners. So when you contact them for their services, you have an idea of who they are and who you're talking to. When you buy from one of our guests, you are buying from a local business. Celeste, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing good. Celeste is our title sponsor for the month. It was great having you here. She's a realtor with HomeSmart PV and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at celeste@sellsyourhomes.com. And we're kind of switching up a little bit today because Marisol is here because she's going to talk about fitness. And I asked you to co-host today, which this is actually your first time. But I know you, Celeste. You'll do great.
Well, thank you. We'll try.
So, Marisol, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here.
We're in the last week of Older Americans Month, yeah, and I don't think you can really talk about Older Americans Month until you talk about nutrition, And we were talking about earlier how different things affect people. So to give Marisol a plug, I'm down 81 pounds. Well, yeah, so I'm really happy about that. The things that. So there's good things and bad things to that. So the bad thing is now I got to get new clothes.
Yeah.
So, or for me, I'm finding clothes that used to fit that didn't fit when I got fat, but now they fit again. Now that I'm, kind of got back to my old weight.
Just make sure you get rid of the big clothes. Don't save them.
Well, actually, I should have brought this with me today. So I found when we had my mom's service last March, I was at my heaviest. I was 306. And I still have those slacks, and I put those on recently.
You fit in one leg.
Well, I don't know about that, but they were but I could bring them out like they were so big, and I'm thinking, man, I couldn't. And then I looked at the waist size, and I was at 52 back then.
And what are you now?
42.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and I'd like to get down to like a 38 waist. But let me ask you, so. Kind of talking about nutrition, and I don't even know if this is a myth, but I kind of believe it to be a fact, but maybe you can tell me differently. But I always felt that men had an easier time losing weight than women. Is that true?
That is true.
That is true. Okay.
Unfortunately, women have hormones, and we also have a reproductive system that creates a human. And so a baby, we need body fat on our body as females to be able to produce a child. If we are under a certain amount of muscle mass and body fat, your body will say there's no reason to have this reproductive system function. Mm-hmm. So because of that, our body will always naturally hold on to a little bit more body fat. And men, they don't create babies as far as, the whole 9 months.
Yeah.
So their body has no need to hold on to body fat.
Okay.
So that's why it is a little easier. Men naturally have more muscle mass. They maintain their muscle mass. And the more muscle we have, it requires a lot more energy to make that muscle move. So if you want to burn a lot of calories without moving or exercising a lot, maintain that muscle mass. And with it being Seniors Health Month, that is something really important because as we get older, we stop producing a growth hormone that maintains muscle mass. So as we get older, we lose muscle mass. So exercising and prioritizing your nutrition like protein and fiber becomes even more important. But even then, our digestive system changes. So older people have a harder time eating red meats or chicken. So the types of protein have to become easier digesting. So our journey changes and a person's nutrition knowledge will change. So it is important to grasp that new knowledge and learn it. So like we've said before, knowledge is power.
So you listen to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Marisol is co-owner of Root of Movement. She can be reached at 209-648-2009, or you can reach her at rootofmovementmodesto.com. And Celeste, I hope you're having fun over there.
Yes.
Yeah. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at celeste@sells, plural, yourhomes, plural.com.
Madi, I work with Madi also. She's the co-owner of Rooted Movement in downtown Modesto, and she helps me with my mobility immensely. Nutrition, but a big part of that, I'm a senior real estate specialist, so I work with the 50 plus community. That's kind of my specialty, and their mobility as well as mine. I'm part of that 50 plus community now as well. And working on my mobility, my previous life, it was nothing for me to get 20,000 steps in a day. And now if I'm not really focused on it, I get about 2. So, prioritizing my movement, stretching, things like that. Madi's been instrumental with me, as we all want to age and feel good doing it.
Right. Yes. Aging gracefully.
So what has Marisol helped you with? And if I kind of go out of bounds here, I apologize.
No, not at all.
But what has Marisol helped you with as far as, getting more healthy, I guess is the best way of putting it?
Nutrition, of course, working on macros and balancing, food. I am post-menopause, so the things that I could eat in my 20s and 30s and drink no longer I can't support that. And then, of course, the mobility, hip mobility, low back. My job is very sedentary. I'm either in front of my computer, I'm in my car. So if I don't get up and get moving early in the morning and get my steps in, then I'm going to struggle for the rest of my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as if you're working 7 days a week also, and because I remember when my parents were looking to buy a house, we were looking on Sundays.
We were looking in the evenings, whenever it works, for my client's schedule. That's when we got to get it done.
Yeah. So you don't have that typical 9 to 5 job. So you have to be able to adjust on the fly.
Correct.
Like if you plan to meet with Marisol or go to Rooted Movement like at 4 p.m., then a client called you, say, hey, I have this opportunity to look at a house. That's got to be prioritized. And you might not have time to do that. But the good thing with Marisol is she understands that, and she can say, well, hey, she can talk about your diet. And maybe that's happened. I don't know.
But creative ways to get movement in throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's really my need. Sometimes I have to be creative on getting my stretching in and my steps and the movement that I need to feel good.
Okay.
It's helping people create a roadmap. I tell people I am their Google Maps for nutrition. You could either try and find the location blindly, and you will, but how many turns are you going to take? How much more time are you going to add to your ETA versus putting in the goal and having somebody create a roadmap straight to that location? You're going to achieve it more. So I listen to a person and I find the obstacles and I address those first. And I don't address all the obstacles. I address like 1 or 2. Celeste, I don't even see Celeste. She lives very far from my gym.
Yeah,
I don't see you, Justin. So the type of services that we provide are individualized. Some people can get in the gym, but Celeste lives 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I would love for her to come to my gym, but it's not ideal.
Yeah.
Her job is too demanding. So would I tell her, park a little further, take those steps, carry your shoes, go on an evening walk, enjoy the sunset on your beautiful property you worked so hard for.
Yeah.
So building her up in where she could be. And then my business partner, Ricardo, he offers great mobility classes and customized programs. He's created a customized program for Celeste to do at home. And Celeste comes and does mobility with him on Saturdays. And then he has an online system.
Like a check-in app.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Accountability app.
Well, maybe during our community corner, we can kind of talk about some of your events coming up too, because I know you're very busy. You have different activities on Saturday, and I don't know where you guys squeeze in home life, because it seems like you guys are always at the gym. But
well, we give up a lot of financial stability to create a community that is always there for us.
So when we come back, we have more of Marisol Fernandez, and she can be reached at
209-648-2009 or at rootedmovementmodesto.com.
My wonderful guest host today is Celeste Zupancic, and she's a realtor with HomeSmart PB and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312 or you can email her at Celeste at cells, plural, yourhomes.plural.com. This is the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Stay with us. This is Justin Duncan from the Small Business Voice. And what does every small business need? A website. That's why the Small Business Voice used Sisbro Innovation to build its website. If you're a small business owner looking to grow your online presence, attract more customers, and actually see results, then you need to connect with Sisbro Innovation. They've been helping businesses thrive for over 10 years, offering affordable websites, SEO, Google Ads, social media marketing, and reputation management, all this without breaking the bank. They were also voted Best of 209 for digital marketing in 2024 as well. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level, reach out to Sisbro Innovation today and see what they can do for you. And tell them that Justin from the Small Business Voice sent you. Visit sisbroinnovation.com or call them at 1-800-291-9102. Connecting local businesses with local families. Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Reach out to us for more information about our featured guests by texting 209-222-8846, or you can always email me at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. My wonderful guest host today is Celeste Zupancic, and she's a realtor with HomeSmart PV and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at Celeste at cells, plural, yourhomes.plural.com. So we have Marisol Fernandez, owner of Rooted Movement, in with us. She can be reached at
209-648-2009 or at rootedmovementmodesto.com.
She is talking to us about nutrition and the pros of being active and the cons of being sedentary, which a lot of us have a sedentary lifestyle. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, technology has made things very easy. We have a lot of machines that do our work, and we're just kind of watching them. So we've become very sedentary.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm actually glad you brought that up. So let's talk about your gym, compared to
other places.
Other places. Yeah, I'll just put it that way, because I've been to your gym, and I know I put on some clinics there and all that. That's a joke.
He was there the other day doing handstand push-ups.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So we are a personal training studio, and what that means is that everybody that comes to my gym has a customized program. Everyone that comes to our gym starts off with a movement assessment, and this movement assessment has nothing to do with how strong or how fast you are, but the human body was designed to move in specific ways. Mm-hmm. We need to see what parts of the body have deviated from those specific ways. In that program, as the coach, our job is to address those issues so that a person doesn't end up hurting themselves. But in the process, we're leading them to their goal. So whether their goal is to run a marathon, to put more muscle mass on, to lose weight, to deadlift, UFC fighter, whatever the goal may be, the program is focused on that. So everybody has a different goal. Everybody has a different lifestyle and fitness ability. So everyone's program is individually created for them. We train up to 3 people at a time. We don't have a big revolving door of new clientele. We have a very tight community. The people that join our gym end up staying there for years. In fact, I have 7 clients that have been with me longer than I've owned my business, and we have been in business for 15 years. So that's great. I love that I can say that. And we teach people. We teach people how to properly move. We teach people how their body works. Okay. We teach people how to properly exercise. So it's not just coming in and achieving a fitness goal, but it's really understanding. We want people to not need us. And that's what we tell people. I'm not going to be that person yelling at you through your session. You have to come in and want to be there. Mm-hmm. Our job is to teach you how to properly exercise so that you don't need us. And most of our clients love that because it builds confidence, which bleeds into their everyday life, feeling good about yourself, being able to walk into a room with confidence. And then we have other clients that are there because they want to be able to continue to use the restroom on their own. They want to be able to walk without a walker. They want to be able to get off of the floor if they fall down. And a lot of them want to stay out of pain. When you get older, your body hurts. It is harder for a senior to move than it is us.
Yeah.
But yet they're the ones that are showing up at the gym more consistently. I've learned so much from our senior community, and they have really built the foundation of rooted movement because they have taught us that it wasn't their careers and what they built as far as finances that they are really striving to, live for. They're just striving to live independently and as well as they can. And they find a reason to be there when a lot of us other people were too busy, right? But it's the one thing that keeps them out of pain and keeps them moving. Because if they move, then they don't need assisted living. Or they don't need somebody checking up on them. That gives their families peace of mind. And it helps them feel strong, right? When we start feeling like we can't do anything on our own, our lifespan starts to shorten.
Yeah. And so you focus mainly on isometrics opposed to machines.
So we focus on compound movements. Not necessarily just compound movements. We focus on whatever the individual needs. If somebody needs isolated movements, then we focus on that. It just depends on what the goal and the person's ability is. But what we focus on is creating a well-balanced health. So if somebody comes in and says, I want to build bigger biceps, my focus is not just on the biceps. I need to make sure that their back stays strong enough so that when they're at their desk, they're not in pain. Their neck is not hurting, because if their neck is not hurting, they're going to come to the gym, right? They're not feeling in pain or tired. Or say somebody says, I want bigger quads. I'm not just focusing on their legs. Your body needs to be challenged from every system. Okay. And we have lots of systems in our body.
All right. And then really quick, I know Celeste got a question really quick, but I told Rick I'd want to do a legit pull-up. So that's like one of the things I'm going to work with Rick on. So but that's one thing that I want to do is just to be able to, I never really could. So.
And you can. It's just teaching you how. Like most people are like, oh, well, you just practice pull-ups. No, you don't.
Yeah, you just telling me like there's more there's more to it than it. Yeah. So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic. She's a realtor with HomeSmart PB and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at celeste@sellsyourhomes.com. And we're here with Marisol Fernandez, co-owner of Rooted Movement. Where can people reach you at?
They can reach us at 209-648-2009. We also have a website, rootedmovementmodesto.com. We have an Instagram and a Facebook that's constantly being updated. So, yeah, we're really easy to find.
Thank you.
So, Madi, I know one of the first conversations we had when we first started working together was, how much am I eating? When am I eating that? There is so much weight loss propaganda out there and different fad diets, and now there's medications out there that, we don't know what long-term effects are going to have on the body. And I know one of the things you do is kind of break down how much a person's eating, because one of the things we do is, I think as Americans, is when we start trying to lose weight, we think we got to really reduce the volume of food that we're eating. Yeah. Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, there's an abundance of nutrition information out there. And the thing with nutrition, it's not just one dimensional. It changes. It changes so dramatically from one person. It can change from one meal to the next, from the next day. And when we go to our medical professionals, who we do hold to the highest standard, because they're there to help us. And so we listen to them, and they just walk in and say, you're overweight and you need to lose weight. Well, what does that mean? Well, eat less and exercise more. And so that's what people are doing. They're eating less, but they don't understand that there's a specific amount of calories that the human body needs just to maintain its daily functions of living. And there's a lot of people living underneath that calorie base, and they're basically in starvation mode. a lot of people have eating disorders and they don't even realize it. And so it's just figuring out what you need as an individual. But a lot of that information out there is true. It just doesn't apply to that person. Like somebody that says, okay, right now we're in the era of carbs are bad. Don't eat carbs. And you can even go to the doctor and they're telling people to have 900 calories and to just cut carbs. And if you have a doctor out there that has said that, run really fast. Mm-hmm. That is not a good doctor. That means that they have no information. They're not giving you sustainable information, but yet these are these medical professionals that we hold to the highest and we're listening to them. So it's just figuring out what you need. And again, I bridge the gap between the medical industry and what a person needs. Mm. I am there just to answer your questions. So one of them being, well, my doctor said I need to lose weight. How much should I really eat? Okay. What I do is that I then evaluate, what do you do for a living? How much are you moving? Do you exercise? I estimate certain amount of muscle mass that you may have, because your amount of muscle mass really determines how much you should be eating, because we're trying to feed every pound of muscle. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's the muscle we want. If you do not feed the muscle will not want to move and you will continue to hold on to body fat. So you have to feed your body. Mm-hmm. And I help figure that out. And I tell people this is your estimated macros. And that word macros is short for macronutrients. And that means proteins, carbs, and fats. Well, all of those three things add up to one thing called calories. So I have to figure out, what does this person need to achieve their goal? Is it weight loss, maintenance, or weight gain? Then based off of how active they are, I then determine how much calories they need. And then I break it up into a certain amount of protein, carbs, and fats. And I provide that for that individual. But the journey doesn't just end there. How do they keep track of this? There's a million ways of doing it. You could keep a food journal. You can take pictures. You can weigh things. You can track it in a calorie counter. But what system are you going to use? Which one sounds doable? I love to weigh and track only because numbers don't lie, right? You weigh something, it says 28 grams. It's 28 grams.
Yeah.
But that's not a system that everybody wants to do. Some people, that's overwhelming. If I started them there, that is not going to be successful. So I start a person where I feel they're going to be more successful, but I listen to their lifestyles. I listen to what journeys they've taken, and I try and keep it to their similar way of living.
Yeah, I know you've always been really great about that, Madi. And, we don't always have a scale when we're at a restaurant. So a lot of people take a photo of their food and send it to Madi so that she can kind of analyze what we're eating, every meal.
And really quick, when you don't send food, what do you send?
Googly eyes.
So
I send the eyes of, hey, you remember me?
Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
So when we come back, you can kind of educate us more on food, because I know Celeste was asking about candy bars, and I wanted to get that question out there too, like the misnomers of bad food and good food and all that. So we'll pick up there. So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic, and she's a realtor with HomeSmart PB and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at Celeste at cells, plural, your homes, plural.com. Stay with us.
This business tip is brought to you by Sisbro Innovation. Hi, this is Catherine Ramos, and today we're talking about forging strategic local partnerships. Local businesses thrive best when they support one another. Consider building strategic partnerships with a non-competing business in your community. A bookstore could work with a coffee shop, setting up a cozy reading nook for patrons. These collaborations can increase foot traffic, share customer base, and further enrich your business in the local community's fabric. Sisbro Innovation, where we help local businesses connect with local families. For more information on this tip, check out our blog at sisbroinnovation.com. That's Sisbro, SISBRO, innovation.com.
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. My wonderful guest host today is Celeste Zupancic, and she's a realtor with HomeSmart PB and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at Celeste at cells, plural, yourhomes.plural.com. And we're here with Marisol Fernandez, co-owner of Rooted Movement, and she can be reached at
209-648-2009 or at rootedmovementmodesto.com.
So if you send an email to rootedmovementmodesto.com, it goes to you and Rick.
I am the hat of everything in that business. So I get the phone calls, the emails, the text messages. So you will get me directly.
Okay, awesome.
Hi, Madi.
Hi, Celeste.
It's great to have you today.
Thanks.
So one thing you and I were talking about earlier was the analogy between the Skittles and the Snickers bar, right? And
yes.
You and I have talked extensively about, food is not bad. Food is not the enemy. So can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So we tend to label food as either bad or good or clean or dirty. And those are terms that should not be used with food because there's food that has nutrients and then there's food that has no nutrients. There's some foods that have more nutrients than others. And we tend to easily just label things as bad. And it's usually the things that we enjoy that we label as bad. And when we keep ourselves away from those things, it's the one things that we tend to binge eat on. So what I try and do as a nutrition coach is educate people on food science. What is the actual components of these foods? When I have a client and they say, well, I ate that Snickers. And I'm like, well, let's not name it Snickers. What are the components of this Snickers? Okay, it's a dairy product. It has milk, it has chocolate, it has nuts, and it has caramel. Mm-hmm. Well, there's going to be protein in that dairy. Is it going to be a lot of sugar? There's no fiber. Yes, there's a whole bunch of bad stuff. But if that Snickers bar has a few grams of protein, and then you compare it to like Skittles, Skittles is nothing but sugar. There's no fiber. There's no protein. There's no other nutrients. You're going to get a simple carb, which is a fast sugar. It's going to create an insulin spike. So yeah, if you need sugar, maybe you're a football player. Maybe you're about to go play a game and you need some sugar. Mm-hmm. Would that be a better thing for that person to have? Not the best thing, but he's going to utilize that sugar better during that
burn
time.
It off faster.
Yes, he's actually using it versus a Snickers bar that actually has a little bit of protein to somebody that's more sedentary. So we would easily label those two things as bad, but their calorie intake is probably the same. But then you just have to look at, why am I having this? So instead of labeling food as bad, we should break down the components of a food item, like hamburgers. Hamburgers are not a bad food. What is a hamburger? Well, it has protein. It has the meat. It has, hopefully you have lettuce, tomatoes, and onions. Well, those are a vegetable.
Yeah.
And then you have the bread. Well, that is a carb. Well, then you have red meat in your, you have red meat on that hamburger. So that's going to have fat. You have a balanced meal there. Mm-hmm. But it's just, did that amount of calories fit in your day? Yeah. But yet we will easily say, I can't have that hamburger. I'm watching my weight.
Okay.
Or maybe you analyze the sides that you had with the hamburger too, because
Exactly.
that can really mess up our calories.
Yes. Now, if I have somebody that is diabetic, their nutrition changes. Then I'm going to tell them, well, let's eliminate that bread and let's do protein style because that person's health is different. So nutrition changes for one person to the next compared to, so you guys are perfect. So Justin, you are more sedentary than Celeste. Mm-hmm. Celeste is moving around a lot. She is driving. She is showing houses. She is bouncing from one location to the other. She's moving more. Mm-hmm. So for somebody that's a little bit more sedentary, I would have you focus on healthier fats. Celeste, I would probably have her focus on more well-balanced. She needs carbs. She needs carbs to keep her brain and her muscles fueled. Mm-hmm. But yet we live in a time where the people are telling us cut carbs.
Yeah.
And we can't do that because when you cut carbs, which your body needs, you make your body very sensitive. Mm-hmm. And say you cut carbs for 2 weeks and you lost those 5 pounds and you're feeling good and you go to that wedding that you were trying to look good for. And then you have the cake and you have the meal. Guess what? The next day, you're like 5 pounds over, but it's not weight gain. And people don't understand that. It's called water retention. It is natural and important for our body to do that. So it's not the food that makes us gain weight all the time.
Yeah.
Just like it's not something that just because we label it as bad, that is the reason. Again, I don't want to complicate things, but I need people to understand that nutrition is a lot more complicated than most people are looking at. And that's why they're not achieving their goals. That's why they're losing 5, gaining 6, losing 4, gaining 3, because they're really not fueling their body.
So to clarify, you're actually a certified nutritionist.
Yes, I am a precision nutrition certified coach.
Okay, and you got that through college and everything.
That is an individualized certification, so that requires you coming out of pocket, you putting in the time. But that doesn't just end my knowledge. I've also taken a variety of classes: chemistry and biology, anatomy, food science. I am a sports nutritionist. So what that means is I understand what the human body needs to exert energy and how much food needs to be given. So that's a really difference between me and other people, is that I am basing food off of what the human body needs, how it functions, understanding all the functions. I have to understand the nerve system, the brain, the liver, the pancreas, the digestive system, your internal organs. All of that really makes a big difference. It's not just food. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the reason why I bring it up is because people out there will claim to be a nutritionist, but they're not certified. But you're actually a certified nutritionist.
I mean, you can be a certified Herbalife nutritionist. So it's really hard. I think that people need to sit down and we don't need to buy anything. We can actually change our health with just the food that we have available. But it's understanding, what do you need?
That's why you have to meet with Madi and really have a one-on-one sit down with her so that she can analyze you as a person and what your needs are.
So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic, and she's a realtor with HomeSmart PV and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at celeste@sellsyourhomes.com. And we have Marisol Fernandez in studio, co-owner of Rooted Movement, and she can be reached at
209-648-2009 or at rootedmovementmodesto.com.
All right. And then your studio is 518 12th Street in Modesto.
Yes.
Yeah, and it has parking in front too.
Yes, we have parking, we have showers, we have restrooms, we have AC, heat, indoor, outdoor area. And because we are a personal training studio, we work with a small group at a time. I think the most people we have in our gym at one time is maybe 8 or 9 people. Yeah. So it's a very small community. The clients that I have, age range is about 43 to 93 years old. So the people I work with are people that understand that it takes investing in their health so that they can continue to enjoy life, so they can enjoy that retirement that they work so hard for, so that they can go to those vacation houses, so that they can play with the grandkids, so that they don't have to be a burden to their family. So it's definitely a different mindset when you get there versus I just need to lose 5 pounds to look good this weekend. Yeah. These are people that understand that. That's out the window. Now, what's important is not having a high premium for insurance, not having to put money away for medication, not needing assistance, not needing the handrails in the bathroom because you can't lift yourself up out of the bathroom.
Okay. And I wanted to reiterate, I think I brought this up earlier, but I wanted to reiterate something. So in the past, when I did want to get in shape, before I knew you, of course, I would join a gym, and it seemed like the workouts, like if you worked like with a personal trainer, he would still start you at his level. He wouldn't start you at your level. So I wanted you to explain really quick, like how you start people at their level.
Okay, so the human body is designed to move in certain planes of motion. Our arms are supposed to go in a circular motion. We're supposed to be able to reach our hands behind our back. I'm going to use the shoulders because it's the one area that Americans have issues with because we're so sedentary. Now, if somebody they're at the gym and they're doing overhead pressing, because that's a very traditional movement. You go to the gym, you're going to see somebody doing weights above their head because that's what they see and that's what they're going to mimic. But what happens if a person tends to be at a desk all day? They lose the range of motion in their shoulders. So let's say that their right hand is on a mouse all day long. Their shoulder range of motion on their right arm is going to be different than the left. I am going to create damage and injure this person if I then force them to do this just traditional movement because overhead pressing is just cool and somebody told them that's what you do to get big shoulders. But then they'll hit a wall because now their shoulder hurts and it's a constant revolving circle. So the assessment allows me to see what issues the body has started to create. My job as the coach is to fix those, but also lead them to what their goal is. So say the goal is pull-ups for you, for example. I have to fix your shoulders before I have you start doing the beginning exercises of pull-ups. So that's what we do. We assess, we evaluate, we correct the issues, and we guide you to your goal.
Okay.
Madi, can you tell us some different classes that you offer at Rooted Movement so that people can understand, if it's a mobility issue, if it's strength building, what do you offer at Rooted?
Actually, let's get that next segment because we're going to have you for one more. We got the community corner. I'm glad you brought that up because she's always doing classes at her gym.
Yeah, different ones.
Yeah, so let's talk about that next segment. I love that question, so hold on to that. When we come back, we have more of Marisol Fernandez, co-owner of Rooted Movement. She can be reached at 209-648-2009, or you can reach her at rootedmovementmodesto.com. And Celeste, thank you for co-hosting with me today. I appreciate it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you for having me.
She's a realtor with HomeSmart PB and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at Celeste at cells, plural, yourhomes.plural.com. So you're listening to Small Business Voice on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iRadio app. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Marisol Fernandez, your certified nutrition coach and co-owner of Rooted Movement. Today, let's talk about how to balance your plate. Fill half of your plate with colorful veggies, a quarter with lean protein, and a quarter with whole grains. This simple formula keeps meals balanced and satisfying. At Rooted Movement, we combine practical nutrition advice with movement to help you reach your health and fitness goals. We're located in the heart of downtown Modesto. So visit us today at rootedmovementmodesto.com or follow us on Instagram and Facebook to start your journey today.
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iRadio app. Reach out to more information about our featured guests by texting 209-222-8846, or you can always email us at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. My wonderful guest host today is Celeste Zupancic, and she's a realtor with HomeSmart PB and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at Celeste at cells, plural, yourhomes.plural.com.
Well put, Justin. Thank you.
So, Community Corner is proudly sponsored by Lightspeed Graphics, a creative media agency specializing in video and animation. To get in touch with owner Kurt Gonzalez, simply text him at 209-617-2606 or visit his website at lightspeedgraphics.com.
Madi, thank you. We're so glad to have you today.
Thanks for having me.
So, I use some, I
You're right.
have been able to partake in some of the different classes that you offer at Rooted. Can you kind of go into that a little bit? We'd like to know more about some of the things that you offer there.
Yeah. So we are predominantly a personal training studio. We encourage people to have programs that are uniquely designed for them and their goals and their fitness levels. But we also know that community and socializing is a very big, important part to how the brain works. And so that's why we designed our classes. Our classes are not like most gyms. Most gyms have classes designed on working out. Our classes are to teach. So we have a variety of different classes. We have yoga classes. Now our yoga classes are only focused on yin and relaxed stretching and breathing, because we create stress in people's exercise programs when lifting weights. So it's really important for the body to have that yin and yang. We have stressful lives. If we don't know how to calm the body, reduce the heart rate, cortisol levels, it's going to be a really big challenge. So we have yoga classes to help reduce stress. We have some kettlebell classes to teach people techniques. One of our classes is called Not So Wild Kettlebell Class. It's Wednesdays. And so because kettlebells tend to be, they're scary at the beginning. People feel like they're going to hurt themselves. They've heard a lot of people hurt themselves. Well, kettlebells don't hurt people. People hurt themselves using them improperly. So our kettlebell classes are focused on teaching. One of the things that we emphasize there is you have to listen to your body. We're not challenging ourselves with the people in the class. We're not competitive. It's not time oriented. It's like just learning. Then we also have stick mobility classes that are focused on stability and creating range of motion. So our classes are to keep the body together, give people a taste of what we do, and get some coaching, get some instructions and some knowledge. Because again, like we've said, knowledge is power.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring something up really quick. So if somebody's listening to the show and they're not sure if they want to contact you, if they go to your website, you have free community classes.
Yes.
The Carry Club. Isn't there a Carry Club on most Saturdays?
Yes. So we also feel that everybody should have an opportunity to be surrounded by a healthy environment with like-minded people that want to improve their health. So on Saturdays at 9 a.m., rain or shine, we open up our gym, and for 35 minutes, we provide a community class. You're not going to be sold. You're not going to have to sign up for anything or hear any kind of spiel. It's just showing up. And the concept of the class is we all carry groceries, right?
Yes.
This month is senior month, right? So one of the things that seniors need to be able to do is carry their groceries. That's one thing that keeps them living independently.
Yeah.
And so at Carry Club, that's what you're doing. You're moving weights from one end of the parking lot to the other. You might have a weight in two hands. That's like carrying two groceries. You might have one weight in one hand, which is similar to carrying one bag of groceries, but teaching you how to properly carry things. Maybe you're carrying it above your head. There's just a lot of things. The class does not require a lot of coaching. These are simple everyday movements that we all do. We all pick something up, whether it's a laundry basket, groceries, our child,
a watermelon.
And we're moving watermelon. Now, the idea is you have to create a demand on your body. You have to put some kind of stress for it to maintain building muscle and bone density. So if we stop putting weight on our body, we will stop creating these things, and there's a lot of health issues.
All right. So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Celeste Zupancic. She's a realtor with HomeSmart PV and Associates. She can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can email her at Celeste@cells, plural, yourhomes.plural.com. And we have Marisol Fernandez, co-owner of Rooted Movement, certified nutrition coach. She can be reached at 209-648-2009, or you could email her at rootedmovementmodesto.com.
Hi, Marty. Again, so once you've built kind of a routine for me and you and Rick feel confident with what I'm doing and how I'm moving through my routine, do I have more access to the gym? What if I need to go at 4:00 in the morning and there's no class available?
Okay. So we offer two types of memberships. There's either the membership of you joining our gym for customized programming, or you're joining the gym to just be part of our classes. Our customized programming memberships provide you everything that the gym has to offer. That means that you're getting your customized program. You're going to get private coaching. You have unlimited access to the classes, and you have unlimited access to the gym. So we have been really lucky to be able to put a well-organized gym together, and we have a great security system that allows us to give our clients access to the gym 24/7. So they're not just coming to the gym when they have an appointment. And because every person has a program, when you go to the gym, you're never guessing what you're doing. It's already been written out. We lay out your program up to 8 weeks. So you have an idea of what you're doing. And at the beginning, we make sure that you understand how to properly move, how to listen to your body. Once you have mastered understanding how to listen to your body, you have unlimited access to the gym. So that's really nice. We have a lot of medical professionals that have odd working hours, and sometimes they need to get in there at 11 a.m. or 5 a.m. And this allows them to not have to coordinate schedules. Now, we do ask that they at least meet with the coach 1 to 2 times a week to make sure that their weights are correct, that their technique is proper. We address any issues that they're having. So that's another thing. A program can be modified. We are coming into harvest season. We have a lot of farmers out there. And when it comes to harvest season, we change our farmers' programs because their sleep is going to be affected. They're going to be sleeping less. Their regimen is less. Their mindset is going to be in a different place. So their exercises need to support their jobs and what they're doing. And our website also provides you a list of all of our services, all of our classes. We're really good at updating our website every month. So there's always an activity calendar. There's a way to sign up for classes. We're also on MindBody. You can find us on MindBody. That is an app that a lot of businesses are connected to, and you can just join a class. If you do contact Rooted Movement through our website and you ask for a free class, anybody who's never attended Rooted Movement, we want you to try it out. So I would love for you to try out a free class.
Madi, if I'm interested in just purchasing a card to maybe go to 3 to 5 different classes throughout the month, can I do something like that as well?
Yes. So we have people that are only in the Valley temporarily because of their jobs. So we do have a class card where you can purchase 5 classes at one time, and you can use those classes within 3 months. So that way you're not forced to use it all in 1 month. And then also for peace of mind, our gym is a month-to-month memberships. We feel that a person should really want to be at our gym. It should be easy for them to get there. It should not be a burden on their finances. And those things can change. So we do not have like 6-month commitment. It's a month-to-month thing. We want you to want to be there.
All right. Well, Marisol, thank you for being in today. We have so much,
I can talk about nutrition all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, we only have an hour. So, so anyway, thank you for coming on today. So if you're a business owner that would like to have your voice heard, feel free to reach out to me at 209-222-8846 or drop me an email at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. Let's connect and grow together. Thank you for tuning in each week, and we look forward to having you back next week. A heartfelt shout out to our dedicated producer, Mike Murray, and the general manager of KCBP, Jim Costello, for their invaluable contributions to our show. We appreciate the hard work of our intern, Tiffany Alex. Celeste, really quick, thank you for being the sponsor for this month.
Thank you for having me. I loved it. It was great.
All right. If you want to get a hold of Celeste, she can be reached at 209-489-7312, or you can also email her at celeste@sellyourhomes.com. Remember to join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. as we dive into the minds of local small business owners and even more insightful discussions. And a special thanks to our guest, Marisol Fernandez, owner of Rooted Movement, for sharing her expertise with us. Now, let's take care of business.